we're very thankful for everyone to join in today. Saturday morning, interesting day, and now with the lockdown being so well relaxed that people have started going out. So rather than people joining sessions on teenagers would like to travel with their teenagers, it seems so. So welcome everyone and the patrons of MAA, which is Moms and Apes Book Club with Parwarish and City Book Leaders, an initiative where we combine the journey of parenting with the joy of books. We receive a lot of messages on the genesis of this name that the club has, which is Moms and Apes. So initially, while we were thinking of who's the next best to mothers, of course, fathers too, Sushant, so don't get offended. We found a fact in a book. Of course, everything comes to us from a book, and that too from a book which is being read by a 9-year-old girl, my daughter. That apes are the best parents who not only combine the elements of care, but they provide a lot of independence to their children. So they are also carefree. They care as well as they are very carefree. They let their kids choose the right path and thus giving their species knowledge into the future. Now, knowing this is the only thing we know more than them, I guess, and that's how we call ourselves slightly as a superior species. That's it, period. Well, nothing to say when it comes to how good we are doing for our future generations. While this world is all set to reach Mars, to colonize it, and also to start mining moon, we see our house, our own earth crumbling, and also our social structure many at times falling into a new kind of, different kind of a grave. I think it's always there. Our today's session will tell you how, as it has been written by Jyotsna Mohan Bhargava, a noted journalist and the author of the book Stoned, Shamed, Depressed, which is truly an explosive book. And that's what the cover also says. This is not a book on parenting, rather a report of where our teenagers are headed. It's a narrative of today's school life in urban India and an insight into the lives of teens. I think history repeats itself, and for every generation, there is some temptation which is in the modern times is getting blurred due to the fast-changing scientific innovations, bringing a change into our social fabric. So I think for my father's age, that would have been a radio when my grandfather would have actually reprimanded him, "Jab dekho radio sunta rehta hai, padega." Possibly at my age, video games, the TV, the cable. And now at my daughter's age, I think we have to be really cautious about what social media, what Instagram, what Snapchat, and as Jyotsna says, tweens. They are the teens who do tweets. So Jyotsna in her book has narrated some horrific tales of how social media and technology is interfering with the entire family structure. And I will also request Sushant to do more nudging when it comes to talking about this book in a while, because he's the one who recommended this book in one of our parents' group. And I immediately bought the book and found this to be a book you cannot keep it down, because it will give you a lot of reflection of what you gift on birthdays. Possibly look for the first gadget that has come out on the market. So every month there's an iPhone 12, 13, 14, and the series goes on. So thanks, Jyotsna, for this amazing work of reporting and bringing out the facts to us that really matter. I will now request Sushant to take us into this session of the book club and enlighten us more. Sushant.
Thanks, Mohit. Welcome, Jyotsna, and thanks for joining in. And by the way, thank you all for being here. Fatima, Neha, everybody, okay? Thanks for joining in. So a couple of things which I'll just add to what Mohit also said. So for me, this is a parenting book, by the way. And I would request everybody to look at it like that. And I kept telling people, till the time you say I have fever, you will not go to a doctor. So darwaza khulna padega jane ke liye. So this book really tells you what the situation is so that you can be aware of it and then do something about it. So my request to all of you is, whatever discussions happen today, Jyotsna would share something, I will poke you a lot. Do not go into a guilt. That's one place we don't want you to go into. Guilt is not going to help. Is the situation bad, horrific, explosive? The answer is yes. But we need to sit back. My request would be distance yourself from these discussions and look at it from outside so that we can do something about it. Because guilt will take you into a hole which will be worse than where we are today. So my whole endeavor with Mohit in bringing these sessions to you and bringing people like Jyotsna here would be to really take this to our own children. They need support. They need us. So how many people are there on this call, this session? My request would be spread it out as loud as far as possible. And just one more change, Jyotsna, your book says an explosive account of the secret lives of Indian teens, and it's more urban, what even Mohit said, but it's not. When it's online, there is, those lines aren't there. There is no lines of age. There are no demarcations of communities, of countries, you name it. So there is no difference between a small town in India, could be a rural area, and maybe a Delhi. That is a thing of the past. So they're as in it as our children in Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta. So it's an explosive account of teens. And I keep telling people, we used to say 13 is a teen and 12 is a tween. But by the way, guys, I say 10 is the new teen. It's just got a spelling change. Rather a single E, it has a double E. That's it. 10 is a new teen and it's going down drastically. Next year, maybe we'll say 5 is the new teen. We're reaching there, and we're reaching there fast. So thanks, Jyotsna, for joining in. I won't take much time because today the floor is yours. And really, I happened to stumble on this book, read it, and then I've been telling every people it's always there in my bag. Whenever I make parents pause, मैंने कहा और कुछ मत करो, इसको पढ़ जरूर लेना यार, because let's open our eyes to it. Let's not be ostriches. So over to you, Jyotsna, and I'll keep bringing in beach mein just to get people involved. So
no, absolutely. Thank you, Sushant and Mohit, for this very apt introduction to my book, because yes, it is like you said, Sushant, it's not really, I mean, the reason I have said urban and demarcated it only because I could have gone on a tangent.
Yeah.
Had I involved a lot more of the society, had I gone into let's just say the underprivileged set, because their struggles are equal, but there's a lot more going on, when it comes to street children and all of that. So my intent was to bring out the fact that these are entitled children, these are privileged children, these are children who have everything, and yet, they are so messed up. And why are they so messed up? I'm actually, I get validated every few months for having written this book, and I'm surprised nobody actually wrote it earlier. I don't know how many of you read the recent Wall Street Journal report that talks about how Instagram is absolutely toxic for our teenagers. It's a big report that's just come out. They have quoted, they have taken studies, internal studies of Facebook, which is the Instagram owner, in a sense. And basically there are internal studies and internal reviews, researchers of Facebook who have gone to Mark Zuckerberg and said that, we need to change this. This is toxic to our teens. This is 1 in 3 teens who gets onto Instagram feels negative about themselves. And this is not just girls. 14% of the boys who've got onto Instagram have said that they felt negatively about themselves once they've got onto this. So like I said, every other month something comes out, and it just reinforces what I've been saying. And the purpose is for me to say that, why do we have to reach that post-haste attempt? Why can we not prevent a lot of this from happening? Why cannot we need to be one step ahead? And I think the purpose of the book, I still think, Sushant, that parenting is personal. Parenting is to each their own. My intent was to bring out this book to show a mirror to everybody so that you can decide for yourselves what kind of action you want to take. I'm sorry, I've got up with a bit of a cold today. What kind of an action you want to take and how you want to take it, because, nobody wants advice. I've learned that. I've learned it the hard way. I tried giving a little bit of advice, whether it is on teenagers or pollution, but kisi ko nahi sunna. So, this was the closest that I got to it. I mean, my intent was to go do a deep dive into the lives of teenagers, into the lives of teens, tweens. I started, and that's the shocking part of this book, because I started writing it thinking that I'm going to be speaking about 17-year-olds, okay, 16, 18, 19, oh my goodness, yes, Sushant, the age just kept dipping lower and lower, to the fact that I've written about an 8-year-old who has anorexia and body issues. So Why? And that to me was the most shocking part. This book was a discovery for me as well. I mean, we think everything is under control, but the amount of school principals and educationists that I spoke with, they were very clear. Middle school is the battleground today. It's not, for a lot of these principals, senior school is either in their control or completely out of their control. So that's a battle they're not going to waste their time over. Their battle is with middle school, because they feel that that age, that 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is the age where children are still so vulnerable, where children can still be led into a better place if they invest in it. And I see that very often. I see that with children. I find them, 10, 11, 12, so exposed today. And again, like Sushant said, it's not just about our big cities. The intent, everybody actually interprets this book as, I'm talking about the elite, but I'm not. Urban does not mean elite. Urban can mean tier 2 cities as well. I mean, there's good money in Kanpur and Amritsar and, these kind of places. And it does not have to be the kind of money where everyone is traveling on a chartered flight. No, it's the money that allows you to let your child just have that smartphone. That is it. That smartphone that has given your child access to everything that they have dreamt of way too early. And the challenges may be different in different cities, but the challenges are equal in the sense that, I mean, that there is, you can go into rural Maharashtra and sit there and you can see, some kids, or, I mean, I'm calling them kids, but people in their 20s sitting there and, hooked on to PUBG. And, and you can come into Chandigarh and see that they're hooked on to Fortnite. Or you go into Chennai, where there are more boys, but the Chennai boys who are more hooked on to gaming there tell me that it is the Northern Indian girls who are equally into the gaming system. So what I'm saying is कि आप बोलोगे यहाँ नहीं हो रहा, but यहाँ कुछ और हो रहा है. I mean, you just need to have to step out to see that a lot of the staff outside your gates is all hooked on to porn. Where is that porn coming from? That porn is coming from the phones. That smartphone today has given access to your children, has given access to the young ones, has given access to the adults. And I'm not saying that we absolve the adults of where we are today with our children. No, I think the adults have to take a lot of responsibility for where we are, for the simple reason that I say you parent your children the way you want to, but this is not a game anymore. I mean, when it started, we all thought, okay, chalo, social media is one big, it's a hobby. It's not a hobby anymore. And that's what I keep telling everybody, we have to treat it in a very different way. We cannot say that this is just time pass. Hum thoda time out, we're just sitting chilling and just being on the phone. Because when you're sitting chilling, being on your phone, your children are watching. And that's the other thing. Your children are watching everything you do. They mimic your behaviors the way you do not understand. They mimic your behaviors. And that is the difference today. If you're going to turn around and say this happens only in the Western societies, I'd like to say, please wake up. It does not happen just in the Western societies. And because your children are streaming the same shows, your children, it's not like our times where we were getting, those video mixtape from the US, you had that Casey Kasem top 100, and you would wait for one cousin or one distant relative who would mix the tape and send it to you 6 months later, and you would catch up with what was going on in the US like 6 months earlier. No, it is instant here because your children are watching the same Netflix. Your children have the same YouTube, which I think is, oh my God, I think everybody thinks, oh, my child is just on YouTube. My child is addicted to YouTube. Yes, your child is addicted to YouTube. Take that word addicted seriously. Don't dismiss it lightly. But what I'm saying is, don't keep saying these are things that happen in the West. I mean,
sorry about this one thing. We're talking about it. If you can just pick up a few anecdotes from your book itself on your research. And obviously, you've changed the names.
Yeah.
So something which really, that we say Western ka hai, wahan nahi hai, yahan nahi hai, wahan zyada hota hai, whatever it is. But if you can pick up a few anecdotes of what were the top, if I say top 3.
Yeah. So, Sushant, I'm not going to pick up an anecdote from the book first. I'm going to pick up a tweet that I got, one of the earliest tweets that I got once the book was released with some gentleman. And he said, this is Western bullshit, quote unquote. And I wrote back to him and I said, Uncle, this is why I wrote the book. This is why I write the book, because of people like you who do not understand what is going on. You want to keep dismissing it as Western. As the amount of children who have written into me after the book was released, and my DM still remains open. And I'd like to tell everybody that my DM has increased during COVID with children writing in on mental health issues and they say they have no one to speak with, that they have no conversations at home, that their simple question was, how do we bring these issues up to our parents, because these things happen. And a lot of children, okay, so to go back to the book, it's a struggle. And I'm going to bring up a few anecdotes of the struggle that these children face in different ways. There's this girl, and she's a top performer, okay, in school, because she's used to being a top she's used to being a topper because that's expected of her. And her parents are these amazing doctors. Everything is going well till the time instead of 100, she gets 99. Okay, and that kind of triggers something off in her. That the kind of pressure is what I'm talking about, that these children live under today. And this is a girl who's telling me that, I do everything. I mean, I'm a good child. I'm a good child. I don't go on to watching a bit too much, but the kind of pressure that she has taken, because her parents may say nothing, but the parents expect her to be a doctor at the end of the day. And so she said, one fine day, I knew where the medicines were kept, and I didn't do well. Why didn't I do well? I did not get a role in the student council. A student council, that's it, right? I didn't get a role in the student council, and a dancing performance of mine did not go well. And I'm talking about somebody who was 15, 16 at the most, right? And she said, I knew where the medicines were kept. And I took them out and I overdosed. I overdosed with the intent of overdosing. Okay, and it's just that somebody was coming over, or her parents weren't home, and somebody just came, rang the bell, and found her like that and rushed her to the hospital. But the point is that the kind of pressure that they are finding themselves in today, that there's a combination. That's the pressure they get from their peers, but there's a pressure that they're getting from their parents who believe that that these things don't happen, but everything is happening. So many children have told me about self-harm. Self-harm is so easy today. It's so easy. And that's again something that has been mentioned in that Wall Street Journal report, that children are self-harming just because. I had a session yesterday with this girl, and she's this wonderful girl whose parents, Indrani Mukherjee, everybody knows that case, right? The Indrani Mukherjee Sheena Bora murder case. She's the daughter. And I was interviewing her yesterday, and this is an 18-year-old whose parents have gone into jail. She doesn't quite know what to do. And at the end of the day, she breaks. I mean, how does she break? She said, first I took a knife, and I tried getting my wrist close to my knife. And this is really what happens with these children. And eventually I overdosed. Again, she was lucky, a friend was coming over, and she was rushed, frothing in the mouth. But if there's just so much going on with these children, to dismiss it as Western bullshit is doing them so much injustice. You cannot let them go. You have to sit down today, listen to these children. You may not agree with it. Our parents didn't agree with a lot of what we said. We don't agree with a lot of what our children say. But the times have changed more drastically now than they did between our parents and us, for the simple reason that there is something called social media. There is something called the cyber world. Whether we like it or not, this is the future. How we harness it is our responsibility. How we take our children forward is our responsibility, to say ye nahi hota, which is what a lot of children have written into me, saying sab bolte hain that we don't get addicted to games, that drug addictions don't happen, that all this happens in the West. This is denial, and this is going to make us lose a generation, Sushant.
Just to add to what you said, okay. So one of the reasons of children saying that I am self-harming is that they say that the pressure in the mind is so high.
Yes.
When I cut myself, my mind goes to this hurt.
Yes.
And I get space and I get eased out, because that pressure in the mind is off for that time, because it's all on my hurt.
Yes.
That's a reason to cut yourself up.
Yes. And it's not just this. I mean,
it's rampant. It is rampant. So one of the girls we were doing it, like talking to, she has started cutting herself. Normally earlier, what used to happen was they used to cut in their hands, somewhere here, on their arms. They say wo pata chal jata hai, and our parents freak out. Now they start cutting themselves in areas which is covered with clothing.
Legs is huge. Legs is huge. Cheeks. You keep biting and biting and biting on your cheeks.
Inside.
That's bleeding. Yeah.
Inside of it.
Inside of it. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of that. I mean, I find it fascinating how easy it is. I mean, how easily these children are talking to me. What is the point of survival? And then, why are we alive? And the problem is also that it's a very sensitive generation. Sushant, as you must have also come across, there's a dichotomy in them. There's a dichotomy in the sense that on one level they're very very sensitive, on the other hand they're very aggressive, and there are also there's a lot of angst in this generation. I don't understand why. I've asked every single child, and I spoke to many children, and I've asked each one of them, why is there so much angst? Itne naraz kyun ho zindagi se? But they're just unhappy with life. And to top it all, if nothing else happens, they become aggressive. And how does that aggression manifest? It manifests against parents, B, it manifests against their peers in terms of something like cyberbullying. And cyberbullying, because how do you control cyberbullying if you're not controlling the gadgets? The anonymity of the cyber world is poison. And to allow your children to get onto this social media early, a lot of that aggression amongst children is also coming from families where families have given their children gadgets very early, 6, 7, 8. And when you try and take it back at the age of 14, 15, it is not happening at all. That's where the aggression is coming. The children are not going to allow it. The point is, there have to be boundaries. I'm not saying children can't be on social media, although I'm still trying not to get them on social media, at least my elder one, and she's turning 13 in less than a month, so I've got a battle coming up. But, I keep telling her, why? Why do you want to be? What is this obsession with likes? There's a world outside, and people can do it. And I understand with children, you want to do it, okay, fine, do it. But why give your child an Instagram at the age of 9? Why? There are no checks and balances on Instagram. Facebook has agreed that there is no child protection policy. That Facebook, its latest report says they don't care what your children think. It is up to us to care for what our children think. Sushant,
I will answer this at the so these two questions you asked Jyotsna just now. That why is there so much of aggression? Why is this dichotomy that at one side they're very aggressive, they're all me, it's narcissism, and on the other side it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it. I'll definitely answer that question, but I'll wait for it before we go to it. But one question to all of you, okay? So Jyotsna was talking about the pressure people are facing on themselves, the peer pressure, the wanting to do that. So the question is that this whole theme which Jyotsna was sharing, that children are they're comparing themselves with people on Instagram, with Facebook, and wanting to be one, the pressure which is there around. Is this something which is increased in these current times, or was it already there? So whatever your take is, just write it on the chat. Was it there at your times, or is it a new phenomena for current times? What do you think? So most of the people are saying it's now, it's new, it's increased. But I would request each one of you to take a minute, and I'll talk about it later once Jyotsna talks about maybe the other two aspects of the area of depression, of alcohol and drugs and body shaming. Let her complete that, and then we move on. But I'm leaving everybody with this question. Go into your own life, or your own life, and remember, did you, I'm not looking at the extent of it, but did you in your times, did something in your school, college, high school, whatever, you did because others were doing it? I didn't want to, but I did because others were doing it, because my team was doing it. I bunked the class because everybody was bunking. I couldn't. I changed my section because I wanted to be with my friend. So, and anybody who's saying no, look again. My request is look again into your life. You'll be surprised.
And honestly, Sushant, only the very strong ones can,
You don't have to write. This is a reflection. Yeah. This is personal. You don't have to announce it. Just keep going back in your life.
And I'll give you an answer to that. Can I?
Sure.
Through an anecdote again from the book. I mean, I was talking to my own nephew, my cousin's son, and he, two of them, they're in the early 20s. And so when I was writing the book and I was speaking to them, and I went to the elder one and I said, come on, sit with me and tell me what's going on. And, he was like, speak to the younger one. And the younger one was just about turned 20, just gone to college. And I said, why? He's like, he's got the kind of friends that you're writing about. And all of us were sitting there. And so I said, listen, so tell me. And he was like, so Bua, I have we were a gang of five, we've always been a gang of five. And it's not like I didn't get pressure. I got pressure. I got immense pressure. Everybody was smoking. Everybody was drinking. There was, everybody was doing wild partying. It's not my scene. So, but it's not like I didn't get the pressure. I just chose not to take that pressure because A, I wasn't comfortable with it, and B, I know my parents are not comfortable with it. Okay. So he said, the pressure kept coming, the pressure kept coming. I held on. It was tough, but I held on. He said, but now the stage I've reached, I still hang with those five boys, in spite of not having smoked or tried any drugs or, control of my alcohol. He said, I go out, the same group, and we go out to another party, other people come to me and they're like, come on, have a drink, or come on, have a smoke up or something. And smoke up is so common, by the way. Yeah. Whatever anybody says. And he's like, no, now the same four boys, they come and stand like a shield in front of me. Okay, and they stand in front of me and say, you talk to us, leave him alone. He will do what he wants to. You can give us what you want, but you can't penetrate this shield. And he said, it took me a while to reach here. But now I've reached, and I think it was a wonderful story, You stick to what you believe in, but the kind of pressure, not everybody can do it, yeah, Sushant. Not everybody can do it.
It's not about just the pressure, Jyotsna. So I'll take it forward. We'll go to the other anecdotes later. But why? And let's take forward my question. At that point of time, we all given. If I take a quick example of mine, I was doing my metallurgical engineering. I always wanted to come back to Delhi, and I knew metallurgical engineer cannot come back to Delhi and work. There's no industry. I got a chance to move to a production engineering, which would have easily given me a job in Delhi and be back with my family. At that time, I'm not talking about 1986. I didn't choose it purely because I said, what will my senior who's supporting me so much in my metallurgical engineering say about me? And I didn't make that choice. It was a life-altering choice at that point of time done by an 18-year-old. So my request to each one of you is, look, be confronting, be truthfully, like brutally honest with yourself. So what was happening in Jyotsna at that time was that if you look at our times, any movie, every song was, they talked about drinks, they talked about stuff, but they were all negative characters. It was said, this is bad. And those people were at the end of the movie killed or jailed or whatever. So the environment is saying, if you look at all those places where drinks were available, those were dingy, bad looking, shitty places where you won't even go, right? Those are, salakhe lagi hoti thi, bahut ganda lagta tha, nobody would go. Right now, those are the swankiest places to walk into. They're the best showrooms. It's available everywhere. It's available on call.
Yeah.
Every home has a bar. Every song which is there is utilizing drugs and alcohol and sex.
Yeah.
So what we were pulled into was our environment. Yeah. What they are getting pulled into, their environment. This need, and I think there's a quote there, not a quote, I would say a line in your book which says this need of being one with your peer group is human. Yeah. There's I think, Jyotsna, you mentioned Erik Erikson, one of those child development expert or a human development expert in 1950s. And I'm sure all of us on this group are born after that. He was talking about this in 1950. So it's a human need. The only thing is we got attracted to what we saw. They're getting attracted to what they see. It's always there. Let's not blame them.
I agree with you. The only difference is that, perhaps Sushant, in our generation, we listened a little bit more to our parents because उन्होंने बोला dance करो, हमको गाना गाना है, पर हमने dance किया. Okay, these children say, we say गाना गाओ, they say हमने dance करना है, तो वो dance ही करेंगे, and it's okay. And I say there is nothing wrong in it. It's how they are. This generation is very different, but the problem is our thinking has not evolved. to be compatible with their thinking. I say to be different is not wrong. They're not right sometimes, but they're not wrong all the times either, right? But are we in sync with what they're thinking? No, we're not, because like you said, I mean, society, movies, all of that has been still going on. I mean, the vamp always had short hair and short clothes. Why? I mean, why? And that kind of then evolves into the thinking, or you call the hilarious person in the movie is always Moti or Kala. I mean, and that's where everything stems up from, right? The way we look at people, the way we behave towards people, the mental health issues, the body shaming, it is so inherent, it is so normalized in our country, Patli Sukri. I say this, I say, I've taken it for every time that, people's houses we would go and say, Kinni Sukri hai, your mother doesn't feed you. I would be like a millionaire by now. But the point is, my daughter doesn't want to take it. Right? So I have turned around and anybody who brings it out, I flag it down. Because I'm like, you cannot have, and in my house, I've told the girls, I'm like, sorry, you cannot talk, even when you're fighting to each other, you're fat, you're thin. I'm like, I don't want to hear these words in my house. I don't want to hear them.
Jyotsna, let's get this seriousness of this, okay? Another question. Have you ever been bullied? Anybody? Or anybody sitting here has not been bullied in their life? One person? Anybody you can say, yes, I was never bullied? So people who are saying the rest of the 24%, I don't know you, but I can say it, you're lying. I'm sorry to use that word. You're lying. The person on the road who's driving bullies a person on a bicycle. Your boss bullies you, you bully your employees. We bully our servants, we bully our maids. Bullying is 100%. The point is, in our times, what Jyotsna was pointing out, bullying used to be happening mostly in schools. That's how we relate. That used to stop when I used to come out of school. Right? Bullying हुई 1 घंटा हुई 2 घंटा हुई क्लास में नहीं हो रही क्लास के बीच में हो रही है 1 घंटा 2 घंटा हुई and it ends at 2 o'clock when I come home. Or as Jyotsna saying, people would walk into her house and they will say her sukdi and her mom will say whatever, and the way she is protecting her daughter, it will end. But friends, it's not ending right now. Bullying is happening 24/7, pinging your child every second, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night through this. And you have zero control. By the way, they have zero control. Bullying is 24/7 in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your bed, in your child's bed. Stop it. How do you do that? And the bullying has become more easier because this is anonymous. I can bully you all and put Jyotsna's face here. You will blame Jyotsna, not me.
It's true.
And one of the anecdotes in Jyotsna, your book, was that the breakup happened between a boy and a girl. And it's a real story again. All of those are real, right?
Yeah.
And the girl creates a fake account in the name of the boy, posts a message back to herself saying, I will rape you.
Yes.
What happened to that guy, Jyotsna? Who didn't send this message? The girl sent it to herself, posing as the boy.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
Became a big thing. I mean, that guy, imagine the kind of, and it's really quick. I mean, there was another boy at the same time who then jumped off the balcony in Gurgaon. I mean,
similar case.
Yep. This is it.
This was last year.
You're pushing your children into. This is what
he had nothing to do with it. He said, I can't handle it. What will my family? And he was a topper. What will my school say? What will my family say? And he jumped. 15-year-old.
Yeah.
End of story. A topper, a great performer at school, not just in academics, but everywhere. Extrovert, being out there, a master of ceremony in schools. Gone. That's the kind of pressure.
If you're not into your children's lives, if you're going to sit in denial, you really don't know what's going on in their lives. That's what I've tried to bring out in the book.
So can we move to the other side of it, about the drinking and the drug side of it?
Of course. The drinking and the drugs, oh my God. All available throughout the pandemic as well, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
अगर आपने सोचा कि everything is calmed down and children are back to our fold, no, my goodness, they were going down to the apartment gates and just getting what they wanted. It's that kind of a network. Now, where are they getting the money from? Right? I mean, there are children who are distributing this in school. Vaping as well, Sushant. Vaping.
Can anybody guess what is this? It's got a pen drive charger.
Just what I said.
Any idea? What is this? Anybody has an idea?
That's the problem.
It's a vape.
Yep.
You can vape weed also through this. It has no smoke.
No smoke.
It has a charger. You just change this. And it's, by the way, if it's lying in your children's geometry boxes, and it is. So children carry 2 geometry boxes to school these days. And this is kept in it looks like a pen or a pen drive.
Or it is tucked away in their socks.
You have no idea. I don't know. I need to keep it in my front pocket and it looks like a pen. It's happening in schools, not now. I'm talking about 10 years back. Roaming around.
Yeah. And now it's
all you have to do it in the classroom.
Yeah. No now it's even more concise. Some of them. Tiny.
This is a big one.
Yeah, this is the big one. You get tiny ones. And children are taking them to school.
Yeah.
And children are smoking in the corridors. I mean, when my daughter was in class 6, 3 boys were suspended. Class 6 in her school, suspended.
How many of us know that weed is illegal in India? Everybody knows? Illegal in India? Yes, no? Illegal. Delhi is number 3 city in the world on consumption. Number 3 in the world. And by the way, the other cities are not far behind.
Yeah.
Number 3 in the world and it's illegal. It costs, you get it for $20, $10. मतलब ice cream खाने के लिए पैसे देते हैं ना हम लोग. An ice cream cup costs more than that.
जो आपका पान वाला होता है ना, और स्कूल के बाहर जो आइसक्रीम वाले बेच रहे होते हैं ना, वहां से ही शुरू होता है.
$20.
Yeah. And the Supreme Court, I think, had flagged down this, saying that schools need to have a closer look at what is in the surroundings of the school outside, in the periphery of the school gates and everything. So it's not unknown.
So guys, my request is, and I'm speaking from Jyotsna and Mohit's point of view also, it's not about guilt, okay? This session was basically saying, let's know the reality so that we can do something about it. So please request, don't go into that side. We will talk, maybe we'll take another last 5 minutes and then maybe a question answers to see what can be done. So before you do, one more question. I was talking about the drinking thing. Any idea, because it's a state specific process, a state specific question. You know, whichever state you are, because people are there from all over the country. What is the legal drinking age in your state? So a lot of people are from Haryana. Anybody from Haryana here? What is the legal age, drinking age in Haryana? Perfect. 25. Can you beat it? Can you believe that? Do you think all those people in the bars are 25 plus?
I think, Sushant, I should tell everyone what's the result of the poll. It's only 33% people who actually said it's 25. Remaining 66% people actually thought it's less than 25. In fact, so much so that approximately 25% people have actually said it's below 18. It's at 18 or 16. So I think it's bliss.
So we don't know, and that's why things happen. I've seen so many people saying, oh, my daughter turned 18 today. As a new fad goes, let's have a drink together.
Yeah. But drinking is still the lesser of the evils, if you want to look at it like that, Sushant, right now. I mean, between drugs and vaping, hash and weed, which is very, very common, which is, again, kids in this generation say that they prefer hash and weed to cigarettes because, they've seen their parents being addicted to smoking. So they don't want to get addicted to smoking, but they'd rather do the weed. So it's a really complicated generation, but I just want to, if I could just tell you what the various topics are in the book, so kind of just break it out for everybody. The chapters, there are just 6 chapters in the book, and the first one deals with the impact of social media. which again is where it all stems from, right? I mean, it's where you're seeing everything. It's where you're seeing the kind of influence that they're getting. I mean, the fact that you have to look pretty, the kind, the anonymity of bullying or looking pretty, hacking accounts or meeting strangers, huge. I mean, kids are you come across strangers ever so often. I mean, they're, to quote a girl, I have 2 Instagram accounts, both of them are public, and I've been approached with by many men to have sex persistently. It's the kind of they're
Done
open.
deal. It's like it's normal.
Post. Yeah, it's very normal. And I mean, it's normal to get your account hacked, because if your account is not hacked, you're not cool enough. So what happens with hacking is that a lot of children hack accounts and sell it to a bigger bidder. I mean, they hack accounts where there are a lot of followers, they'll sell it to a bigger bidder. And what will they do? They'll gain money. What will they do with the money? They'll smoke up. It's very simple.
Just want to add something here, and it's account again new from people, but the book explicitly says that Instagram. I have an account. I don't know how to use it. It's like a Parwarish account. It's not my account. So people think that whatever you post stays there for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Snapchat.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's Snapchat. I'm sorry. So it's full of nude selfies.
Yes.
Now, at an end, it goes off. But if I take a screenshot, it's there, and people need to know. Once it goes on to the web, there is no looking back. It cannot be brought down ever. It's impossible. So you did it for your birth, and it's not a cool thing. You do it for your boyfriend, you do it for your girlfriend, and it's a cool thing to do it. Oh, I can, because this age is wants to experiment, is bored.
I say it's called, what I tell my children as well, it's the digital footprint. It never goes away. It never, ever goes away. And I'll give you another example. I mean, Sushant has mentioned this, so I'll take an example out of the book. And there is this boy who sent photos to his boyfriend, and they were leaked. Like I said, also in cyber world, there are no best friends. It was leaked by his best friend. And if you speak to your children, you'll ask them. I mean, they'll always tell you, we've got so many followers, 5,000, 10K, 20K. And you ask them, offline, kitne friends hai do? So, it's really like that, right? So this boy, his nudes were leaked by his supposed best friends. And now imagine the kind of pressure this boy was, for the simple reason that I was told of the story by 3 different children in 3 different parts of the country. It was all over the country. Okay, that video. And he told me, he said, there was a time where I didn't want to get up. I wanted to just finish it off. But this is the kind of pressure that these children are. This is the kind of they think that Snapchat is so momentary. We'll flash and it goes, right? That's not. Somebody else is taking it on an Android. You got that recording. You're gone. And unless we know as adults, we will not be able to teach our children any better. So I keep saying this to adults, that we have to learn what is really going on. I mean, it's very easy to say, and I have done this myself, okay? I mean, my elder one who's not on Instagram, and I'd be like, oh God, this is not getting uploaded on IGTV. Can you just do it? Prompt, not even on Instagram, but prompt, right? I mean, this is the digital generation. And then I'm like, oh my God, it is not right. I got to figure this out for myself. I have to figure it out. Only if I figure it out for myself will I be able to help my children and understand where they are. So anyway, the Instagram generation, otherwise I'll keep talking, was the first chapter. The second one is rock and roll generation. This is drugs, which we've spoken about. I mean, huge drugs, weed, hash, accessible, cocaine, very LSD. Your kids are all going off to Goa after the class 12th. I think, you were lucky that they didn't go in the last 2 years. I would have taken that. But the kind of exposure that they have is also coming from somewhere, right? Where are they getting the money from? Are they getting it from home? A lot of children are also stealing money. Watch what you're doing. Watch where you're keeping your money. There's a lot of this going on, okay?
And buying the weed at 20 and selling at 200. That's $180 in my pocket.
Yes, and also whacking the vapes from your parents. So I know at least 2 friends' children who were suspended from school. They both had done the same thing. They had sneaked out their parents' vapes and sold them in school. I know them personally. So vaping is so huge. You have no idea. You cannot smell it. But that one pod of that is equal to a child smoking 1 packet of cigarette. and you ghost it, as they call it. You don't, the smoke doesn't come out, and they're doing it in school openly because the schools can't track it. So vaping is something I think everybody needs to read about hugely. The coward in the room is bullying, cyberbullying, sexual bullying, girl on girl bullying, and normal physical bullying. All huge. Girls bullying girls is so horrible today. I cannot even tell you. It's nasty. It is nasty, and it is underhanded. And this is where we get all of that coming in, right? We get the aspects of cyber world coming in, because this is where girls are leaking intimate photos of their friends, or or recording their own friends and uploading them anonymously. So it's really scary. As a lot of experts say that the kind of situation these children are in, it's remarkable. It's actually remarkable to understand that they are fighting many battles on many fronts, and the strength that they have to fight these battles is remarkable. So we have to also understand the kind of pressures that they are under, the kind of challenges that they are under, and not just say that drugs nahi hota because it didn't happen in our time. It possibly happened in our time, nobody reported it. It's just that things are more open now. Rape didn't happen, but yes. So there's that. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget is the kind of conversations, the kind of talk, the ease of intimacy in our children. Today, the fact that we don't speak about the word consent, that there is porn addiction in children as young as 10, as I've written in my book, Girls and Boys Alike. If you're not talking about this is taking them. If you're not talking about consent, if you're not talking about intimacy, you are allowing them to be open to a space where it is unhealthy. What would you rather leave them to a space where they have to go to unhealthy clinics and just land up without any kind, and put them in jeopardy, put the health in jeopardy? Is it not better to have these conversations, prepare them for life? It is what it is. Sometimes you have to just prepare them. I mean, a lot of girls have told me, and the fact that by 16, 17 in Delhi, Gurgaon schools, you got to get rid of your virginity because it is the cool thing to do. In our times, the cool thing to do was to send, letters to our crushes. In this time, this is it. This is their reality. They say we have to get it over with. There is nothing. There is no meaning to it.
You're ostracized if you're a virgin.
Yeah. That's the thing.
So, guys, a quick thing. We are at 12:23. Does it work to extend it about 5-7 minutes? Because at the end, I just want to go into some kind of hand holding.
I'll do this very fast. I'll do this very fast. The Body of Shame is chapter number 5, my most poignant chapter. It broke my heart every single time when I wrote about these children who are dealing with mental health. I could not sleep for nights when I was writing this. Children who've been hospitalized. One child who, if she had not been hospitalized, was told by the doctor. The doctor told her mother that 4 more months and she would have died. These are the kind of issues. These are the kind of pressures the children are putting themselves under. Not eating, bulimia, anorexia, throwing out their food. Sad. Bullied, not, the body shaming is coming out in so many facets, okay, so many ways. But the fact is that so many of these children, I'm telling you, it broke my heart, really, Sushant. Every time I would speak to a 13-year-old, who was like, I haven't eaten and I couldn't eat and I was just surviving on half an apple every day. Or the fact that you go out and you notice all these children who are, only sipping warm water. What are your parents doing? Why are you telling them? And their parents who are saying, it's fine, we don't want them to put on weight. Or their parents who are putting on this pressure saying, please wear Spanx to their children who are in school. What are you building them up for? Because, why? Society. Why is it that everything is so conventional in our... We have got to... Everybody talks about body positivity. I say, forget it in our country. Let us just talk about body neutrality for now. One step at a time. Positivity to bahut dur ki baat hai.
It's okay to be you.
Yeah, it's okay to be you, but our children don't believe it because we don't let them believe it. They're going to sit in your rooms and say, oh my God, I can't get into that skinny jeans. Oh my God, I put on weight. After eating that ice cream, your children are watching. They're not going to eat. I mean, the body shaming too of the girls that I spoke with who were in such a bad shape, they don't touch chocolates, yeah? They were 14, 15, they don't eat chocolates. What kind of childhood is this? And the last one, gaming addiction. The most spoken about, underestimated chapter is gaming, because you all don't know what your children are doing. Really don't know what your children are doing. Gaming is not a hobby. Gaming is not just something to have fun with anymore. You can do it for 1 hour, watch your child, but even during online lessons. A lot of children were playing games behind your back. I've personally known friends who've gone and who've been told by their teachers that your children are not paying attention and sneaked in and seen that the children are playing games. 10-year-old friend, really close friend's son, started having nightmares. Why would you put them on these games?
85% of children on gaming are bullied. Yeah. Gaming is a start point of grooming. The word you use, Jyotsna, grooming them.
You have a poll on how many people know what grooming is? I would love to know.
So I'll just quickly tell them, grooming them from gaming into drugs or sex. That's the word it's used. They're groomed into it, starting with a game which is harmless.
Yep. That sums it up. That's what's going on. But for gaming, you really do need to read the chapter for the simple reason that, when your kids are playing, there are a lot of people in that they're playing these multiplayer games with 40, 50 people. There could be 30 people who are not the age they say they are. Because you're not watching, you can just say, I'm your age, I'm 18, I'm 17, but you're actually a 40-year-old man playing, right? And also because, when you're playing in that whole adrenaline, you've got the pop-ups open and you're like, okay, pass me the thing, pass me the shoot, chat. There are a lot of people listening into the background conversations. And they're putting in those conversations that your child does not realize. Your child is like, okay, pass me the coin. And then somebody's like, so are your parents home? Yes. Or no. And okay, shoot. Okay, what time do they come home? They come home at 8 in the evening. Okay, where's the bank account? And the kids are so involved in the game, they don't realize what they're answering because the pop-ups are open. Everything about your house is going out.
So a couple of, I just want to repeat it again. Please don't move into the guilt of it. Let's get together. Let's reach out to every parent, every child. And one small request, please do not listen to it. It was heavy. It was overwhelming. Sure. It's scary. Sure. Plus, please do not go back today saying it's not happening to me. I have been coaching parents for the last 12 years. I'm very intimate and close to my children, 21 and 15. But can I put my hand on my heart and I say that I know everything what they're doing? It'll be a lie. So I can bet all our children, all would be fitting in any one of those chapters, at least in one. All of our children. 37% of Indian teenagers aged 10 to 15 are depressed. It's a fact. 37%. Just count the number of children we have right now on the screen. Our children, out of that, more than 1/3 are depressed, clinically depressed, but not diagnosed. So guys, couple of minutes I would extend to just see if we can give some way out so that we start first from the awareness fit. Don't close your eyes. Open your eyes so that we can do something about it. So my question, Mohit, if you can just put that poll up, which talks about what's the solution. Let's see what people say, and then I'll quickly talk about it. So a solution. It says legally ban the access, put parental control apps, we physically restricting the access, limiting the usage. And the last one is space of open, transparent communication between parents and children. What do you think would work?
So it looks like everyone is on the fourth option. 100%, that's how it is coming. 0 for all the above 3. Either this is a kind of an objective question paper that you have said, Sushant, where the answer is so predictable.
So predictable. So you see, so the guys, the good news out here is we all know the answer. The answer is with you. Nobody outside needs to advise you on it. Legal karo. Porn sites were banned by Indian government in 2018. If you go and search on your site, it will not open. It will say banned. Are they banned? It just takes 30 seconds to download a VPN and watch anything and everything you want. So any kind of a legal ban, if you think you can cut off Wi-Fi from your house, just delete it. Just throw that instrument out. I can bet my life your 5-year-old will hack the Wi-Fi of your neighbor. It'll take him 5 minutes to do that. Our phone, I've met a lot of parents saying, my child doesn't have a phone. I have not given a phone. And I know that the child has an iPhone, not a normal phone. Why? Because friends want to talk. They don't have an option. They collected money and gifted an iPhone to that kid. The parents uska phone hi nahi hai, and he's carrying a 1 lakh plus phone in his pocket. So all those, the first 3 options, even if you try doing it at home, they're impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. If you know, I met a parent, he said, मैंने ना अपने फोन पे फेस रिकग्निशन लगा दिया, वो नहीं उठा सकता. अरे आपके सोने के बाद वो फोन उठाता है, आपके मुंह पे रखता है, चला जाता है.
Very smart.
It's so simple. You think they're smart, you're nobody in front of them. Okay, guys. So the
Yeah, no,
only way, one and only way, is to talk. So one question which I ask in my workshops, okay, I'll put it here. My request is don't take it, otherwise I'm taking it for me. So this is a question I used to ask when my daughter, she's 15 right now, I used to ask when she was 10 also. So if my daughter comes to me and says, Dad, I'm sleeping with this guy, good news, bad news? Say it out. Difficult question. Good news, bad news? Guys, good news. I will not be able to take it. That's a different story. I need to. That's my job. I can only do something about it if there is space enough for my child to come and tell me. हो तो रहा है.
हो तो रहा है.
हो रहा है. अगर वो आपको बता सकती है तो तुम वहां खड़े होके उसको सपोर्ट कर सकते हो. अगर वो बताएंगे ही नहीं. So a child will tell the truth to the extent the parent has the courage to listen to it. It'll break you open. It'll cut you through. But guys, that's the situation. We don't have an option out here. We have to be the one. We, you, I do not have the option not to listen to what is happening out there. We need to open up to listen. And once we listen, we can do something about it. And by the way, I can tell you one thing, by working with parents and children for so long, they want to come and talk to you. They don't know where to go. Because we say, अरे क्या बकवास कर रहा है? We say mental health. अरे यार तू sad क्यों हो रहा है? अरे चल बाहर चल मूवी चलते हैं. अरे छोड़ खेलने चलते हैं. छोड़ ये क्या बकवास है? चल get up. Guys, we don't do that when they have a broken bone. We take them to a doctor. We take them to a specialist. We don't say, अरे टांग ही तो टूटी है, चल कुछ नहीं होता, ठीक हो जाएगी, चल पड़. नहीं करते ना. This damage is also equal. Let's get open to it. It requires expert help. We do not have it. Don't shrug it off कि यार बच्चा अरे यार अकेला बैठा हुआ है, हो सकता है बोर हो गया हो. अरे नहीं यार.
15 to 25, suicide is the highest cause of death. 15 to 25. That's the age.
It's become easy now, yeah. And there is stress, there is pressure out there. It takes one thing to just snap it out. Yeah. So guys, this is like, my request would be, do not ignore even an iota of an indication from there is something amiss. जिस तरीके से हम घर की सफाई करते हैं ना, कि यार सफाई कर रहे हैं तो काला दिखता है, काला को साफ करते हैं. So looking for that dirt and cleaning it up. Do that with your children. Look for these signs. And then see, go deep, talk, chat, need an expert, go there, do whatever it takes. Do not say कि यार अच्छा पूरा तो साफ है, एक छोटा सा गंद है. अरे यार वही एक छोटा सा part is enough for them to jump off the screen. Don't. Please.
Also, Sushant, if I can just say one thing, when Sushant was talking about all these things are happening in our houses and, with our children, I would request, parents to have a look and not give everything a sweeping punishment. There is always a difference, and I think we have that kind of reaction that, it's paid, or whatever, you were caught making out with somebody and you're going to punish them. No, but you have to, there's aggression, there is adventurism, there is hormones, there is just so much going on. You have to decide how you want. Everything cannot have the same punishment of locking your child up. No, can't. There is experimenting is different from a child who's talking about gangbang and raping another child. There are different things. You have to also not give everything is not wrong. Everything can just be a teen just, doing what teenagers do.
So at what age should we be talking to our children about drugs, alcohol, sex, mental health, whatever. What age should you be talking about all this? When they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What do you think? What's an appropriate age?
I think the poll result will also be a reflection of the age of their children or people who are contributing to it. I guess they want to,
even if your child is 21, you can still say back at what age I should have talked.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Request would we look at that?
Clarify and nice way to articulate. As of now, it's like 9 to 11 has taken the highest number at this point of time, which is seconded by 6 to 8 and 12 to 14, both at equal.
So what is the percentage, Mohit?
I'll just quickly show. 15 plus is 0, interestingly.
Congratulations, guys.
That's good.
Really happy about that. Really
Folks lost, nothing can happen. Yeah, so here's the result. You can have a look.
33, 37, 30. Almost like 33, like one third.
So,
but I like it that 12 to 14 is still less than the rest.
12 to 14 doesn't exist now. उसको भूल जाओ.
बहुत late हो गया है.
बहुत late हो गया.
So by the way, when parents ask this my question, I put it in a quote saying 8 is late.
There you go. It's true.
8 is late. Yeah. Optimally. Just think about it. Yeah. At what age are they listening to क्या था वो जो हनी सिंह गा रहा था 4 bottle vodka? That was about 10 years back, right? 4 bottle vodka, छोटी skirt में अच्छी लगती मैनू. All those songs were playing when your kids were 2. Pink lips. I've seen children. You know, when I should remember this one. When we were kids, and when my child was kid, when Amana was kid, we used to bring that thing which is used to actually very that anybody remembers it. That thing used to be called a mobile. It used to be a thing which you put on the crib, and it and the battery operated, and it used to move and make those noises, like not noises, sorry, music. It used to be called a mobile, by the way. Now that mobile has been replaced by this mobile. So they are sleeping to waking up to Pink Lips kind of songs 10 years back. Now it's very different. So think about it.
No, it's, yeah.
5 years back, my daughter, okay, she's 15 right now. 5 years back, she was in class 5 at that time. She comes back to me and says, Dad, in the bus, school bus, 5 years back, it was 2016. Children of my class are discussing 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Discussing. Not reading. 5 years back, 10-year-olds.
Can you imagine? Like I say, equal exposure.
So, guys,
look
as soon as possible. 5, 6, 7. They ask, "What is this? What is this ad of a condom or a sanitary napkin?" We need to answer. If you don't answer, the question doesn't get anywhere. It goes onto the net. Just imagine if they just Google condoms. The world opens up, and then they don't know where to go. It can be a 3-year-old. By the way, I had a quick one last sharing before we want to take any questions. And we can extend it. I'm there for next few minutes. So children of class 2 were given a homework, okay, of finding the opposites of certain animals and birds, like the male and the females. In that entire list, so we say, search the net, answer nikal le apne aap. So child is a class 2 child is surfing the net. One of the question was a hen. What do you think will open up for that child on the net? And it was simple, very innocent question by a school teacher. Well, that's the world out there. Let's not fight it. We can't. Yeah. We've got to embrace it. We've got to embrace our children, support them. And by the way, they're waiting for you. I can promise you that. They're waiting for you.
Yeah.
So I know it's been a lot. And thanks, Jyotsna, for joining. And I'm really loved it. I hope people read it. Everybody reads it. Read it like a Bible, yeah. Even if you're not a parent, give it to everybody. Let them read it. Let's get aware of it. Once you're aware of it, I think we'll all wake up, because your answer of that, the solution lies with you, and you have it. It's all with us. We all need to get it in action. That's about it. So Thanks, Mohit, for arranging this every
No, I
month.
think this is a fascinating discussion, and glad Jyotsna we could prepare for that in advance. And one of the parents, while she's watching, she has sent a very beautiful picture, which I think I must share with everyone on the usage of mobile phone, because that's what we're talking. If Newton had a mobile, he would have never observed what's gravity. So she has just sent it to me. So I thought it's important I should share with everyone of what the digression is happening. Of course, every age, every parent would have observed it, even if it was way back in 19th or 20th century as well. But this book is truly explosive, and Sushant, thanks a lot. That's what happens when you read books and when you have friends who read books. So that's where you build a new kind of a social platform, which is on books, and good people recommend good books.
Well, I just wanted to mention one of the books. Okay, I read it in 2008. The book's name is The Pressured Child. 2008. It's written, I think, in 90s. I think even before that. And I was blown away by the account. It was that the child's journey in school is one of the most difficult journey. And this is in 2008. And I think the book was written in 90s. That opened up my mind towards children, and it was a great thing at that point of time, which really helped me to understand what a child is going through, and we could create our sessions and support parents and children through that. So it's not a new phenomenon.
And I think, Sushant, those were the times when you and I used to fight in our corporate office, right?
Just
for everything that was not happening in our corporate sales days. So glad books definitely do that, and they change you. And this book will definitely will change you. Will bring in an amazing set of facts. Jyotsna, glad that you could do this, and we are very thankful that after a year we could host you here. But this book is evergreen because, and it will go up as well. I think the fact that you have given this book will not stop till the time we start taking an action to it. Thank you. It's truly a pleasure, and I think thanks to everyone who could join in and can find meaning in whatever we did. So encourage them to buy the book, and read the book as well, and talk about it on circles.
Happy to hear your feedback. My Instagram DM is open, so I'm always getting. And I know somebody wrote about that session with Vidhi, asking you guys to do it. I've already done this session, and even this stayed beautiful. I mean, strong lady. You can hear it on my Instagram. And yes, parents, please don't share without your children's knowledge. Please don't share too much about your lives. If you're going to share, what is your child going to do? Going to share more. That's it.
Just want to take a quick question by it's Aparna. I think it's a very pertinent question. Won't take too much of time. But last thing which you said, that how do you start these conversations? So Anjana, Anand, today's session is a great start point. Just tell them that I just went through this, and what did you gain out of it? Don't talk about them right now. Talk about that, what you learned today. You want to watch this session along with them, talk to them about it, and start the conversation slow and easy. Simple.
Great. So have a great time ahead. Have your lunch. See you all.
And
thank you, guys.
Sure.
Thank you, Sushant and Mohit. Thank you.
Thanks, Jyotsna. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Jyotsna.